Wow.
Wow.
Yep. Hello and welcome to Geekdom Movies, guys. Today we're here and we just walked out. We are still in the car of Godzilla vs. King Kong, Teen Titans or whatever they call it. And we're excited.
Attack on Titans.
Attack on the Teen Titans, I think.
Clash of the
Like
Titans.
that.
Yes.
There were a lot of teenagers in this movie.
Oh my gosh, so many kids.
Yeah. So
this one kid kept talking behind me too.
Oh yeah. In the movie and in the theater, there was a lot of kids talking. So yeah, we just walked out of the theater, and we're gonna give you our non-spoiler review first, and then we will give you fair warning and get into our spoilers. Fahad, go ahead and start us off.
Okay, so imagine Stranger Things with how do you say
Millie Bobby Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown. Same concept. Monsters, shady government dealings, companies. Going underground. Computer hacking.
Nerd teenagers.
Yeah, and then you take Spielberg kids. That's what I like. Like Spielberg comedy, like 80s. Like big budget, like monsters, epic fights.
Mm-hmm.
And if any of that sounds even remotely interesting to you, go see this movie.
Yes.
And the other thing I would say, even though I think you and I both have seen all the previous movies.
Yes.
Shannon has not seen it, but she said you could follow along enough. It didn't get too confusing.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot in this movie that's super confusing. It's King Kong and Godzilla, and they're fighting.
Yes.
There was a few things I was confused about, but honestly, I had no problem following the plot of this, even skipping the first two.
Yeah,
it says a lot because I'm very bad at following action movie plots.
Yeah, no, they did a really good job with how structuring this movie.
Yeah,
you knew what Godzilla was doing, you knew what King Kong was doing, you knew what Team Godzilla, which is Millie Bobby Brown. And then you had the little Asian girl and this military thing going on.
That's Team Kong.
That was Team Kong. So the military aspect is Kong, and the government corporation, dark shady company, is Millie Bobby Brown, which is perfect. That's exactly where she needed to be. That whole shindig, and this movie is literally, I kid you not, Stranger Things on steroids. Literally, while I was watching this, somebody watched Stranger Things and said we should do that with a big budget and we should just hire her. Yeah,
and take away Millie Bobby Brown's powers.
Oh
my goodness.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what? She had a huge part to play. She was still leading the charge. She was trying to make the team. Yeah. She got her friend and they stole his dad's van or whatever it was. They found another guy that could help them. She was important. It wasn't just oh, she doesn't have superpowers, so she's kind of useless. No, she was very intricate to where the story was going within the movie context.
She was even in the previous movie as well.
Yeah, her mom. That's true, and that whole storyline as well.
Well, she was important in that one too, if you recall. So
no, she's been great. I mean, I feel
if I recall, she was actually the one that wasn't she the one that played the soundtrack in that one area to attract Godzilla.
Yeah.
So
okay.
she had a key part in that movie as well.
Yeah, I do feel like she's in the other movie she was still listening to her mom and dad and kind of letting them make the charge and take the charge, and it was more like that mom storyline and dad storyline, and she was there. This one, the parents are kind of out of the picture. Her dad is still there, and he's still, but he only has I would say maybe 5-10 minutes of screen time. This movie is just her and her taking charge in this movie, and it was great.
Her dad's not in this much.
No,
I wouldn't have known he had a huge role in the other two.
Just the last one, not the first one, just the last one. That's when she gets introduced, and she did great. And honestly, I love this movie. I thought I had no expectations. The trailers were just oh yeah, monsters fighting, cool. I guess I'll check it out. like, I can easily say there couldn't be, we can't even talk deeply about this movie because they didn't show anything in the trailer. There are storylines, there are actually surprises within the context of this movie that I did not see coming, and I was like, thumbs up, you know what I'm saying? Like, the effects are absolutely gorgeous,
amazing.
Like, half this movie I was just kind of like staring at the Hong Kong light, like the city lights and the ship and the inside bases, and it was like very glowy and like neon. It was really cool. Like, I it felt like a little bit like Lost in Space, in the sense that, like, there are, like, you're on the ship and there's things going on and they're flying, even though it's not space.
But the story is really more focused around the kids and the families and the characters.
Oh yeah. Okay. There's a little girl in this movie. This little girl is gonna be like I swear, like, she had to take a lot of the heavy lifting for a little girl to look at a monster that is CGI, that just doesn't exist, but yet that's what I was more impressed by with this girl. This girl had so many emotional connection moments. That little girl, like, her acting ability is like on steroids or something, because like how she was able to like intricately like really connect with the CGI character that doesn't exist is just like just out of the park amazing.
I think like 2/3 through this movie I went, oh my gosh, I just realized that monkey isn't actually a real monkey. That's all CGI.
Yeah. And I don't know what else to say. I can't wait to see this again. Me and George were talking about this. Like, we just saw it in IMAX, but now I want to see it in Dolby. Yeah. So I want to go back and see this. This movie, no movie has come out. Maybe Tenet, but that was too far. We had to go to Ohio, so there was no way I could see it again. But this is the first movie I've seen in like a year and a half that I'm like, I can't wait to see again.
In theaters.
Because it is, the action is amazing. They have some of the most beautiful looking, like, world building things happening within the movie that I did not see coming. And half this movie, I was just like, wow. I just kept saying wow half this movie, because I was just like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, even I was saying that. Just at visuals alone.
Yeah.
If I didn't understand the plot or whatever, the visuals still kept me tied in. There's so much going on in this movie, and it all, like, for me, I have zero problems with this movie. This, to me, is the perfect monster action movie. I can't even remember the last time. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Maybe Cloverfield, like 10, 20 years ago. That movie was amazing. But this is better than Cloverfield, even though I enjoyed it. The death count in this movie must have been...
Oh, you have to.
Astronomical.
Yeah, this movie is literally just like monsters showing... I mean, like, that's what Godzilla was. That's what King Kong was.
I know.
These movies are like big, but like, you go back and watch the 1960s, 70s, like, Japanese Godzilla movies. It's just like toy Godzillas. Those are so funny, though. Hitting like paper towers and just kind of going rah, and
toy airplanes.
Yeah, toy airplanes. And here it's like, oh no, like this is like a true monster smackdown in the middle of Hong Kong, like, fight sequence, and it was awesome, like, the whole time. And there were some really funny scenes. Like, the way they look at things, I think the characters are just like always like, oh my god, this is scary because it's a giant effing monster. So of course you would have that surprise, freaked out look most of the time, but those looks were just cracking me up. Oh my god. And that's what's in the Godzilla, like, Japanese movies, where people are like, ah, Godzilla, and then like run away, and they're like, ah, that whole thing. I love this movie. This thing's gonna be, I don't know what the year has store for us because we're only in March, but right now I would say this is easily going to be in my top 10. Heck, maybe even in my top 5 at this point. So yeah, that's my review. Go see it. Just go see it. You're going to have fun. You really are just going to have fun. Even if you don't like monster movies or Stranger Things, I think everybody could watch this movie and just have fun. That's my review for this. George, I'm throwing it over to you.
All right. This movie was fantastic. And yes, I do want to go watch this in Dolby because that is my favorite place to be. Also, we had I'd like to bring this up just real quick. If you have assigned seating, sit in your seat. We had to move spots because people were in our seats. Anyways,
Yeah.
that was the kind of beside the point. But the movie was amazing, and it made up for that whole chaos. It was absolutely phenomenal. The visual effects were just fantastic. There were a couple of things that, you know, I don't know if they were, you know, plot holes or they were just covering stuff up.
They were moving the plot
But
along. They couldn't really.
Yeah, they
you know,
didn't really have time to like really show.
You got the gist of it.
Exactly.
What they were trying to go for.
Exactly. And it was always interesting the entire time. Like I can't say that I was bored for a second in this movie because
No way.
It was just good. It was going nonstop. Yeah, I definitely go watch this in theaters because this movie was designed for theaters. Like even with IMAX, it's like the sound effects were like, I mean, it was amazing. So I could hardly wait to watch it in Dolby because I know the sound's even better in Dolby.
This isn't a spoiler, but speaking of sound effect, just going off, the little girl could hear King Kong's heartbeat and
She could feel it.
what he was feeling. And there were like 2, 3, 4 scenes of just her like just looking at Kong and like picking up
And
these,
just feeling
like,
something.
you know, like just
Yeah.
I had goosebumps, man. It was so epic looking and sounding.
Mm-hmm. I kept comparing this a lot in my head to like Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park movies, because in those movies the main characters are the focus and the dinosaurs are just like the obstacles that they face. And there's a lot of action movies where the entire point of the movie is just to watch people hitting each other, and those put me to sleep. Like, I'm so bored by those. And this one, the focus is on the characters and how they interact, and the monsters are like just the obstacles that they face along the way and interacts with them as a plot device.
Yeah.
And Kong is like an actual character in this movie as well, and has emotion and has depth.
Yeah, King Kong had heart, which is a weird thing to say, but like I
did.
felt
Yeah, I've never seen that in any other movie. I mean, he's
No.
basically had where like, you know, he's I mean, I think back to the original Kong movie.
Oh, like the New York one, yeah.
Yeah, the original. And like that, like ever since that point, it's always been like, oh, you know, he's there to like, you know, just protect this woman or like attempt to from who knows what he thinks is gonna harm her.
Yeah.
In this one, it was almost like that connection he had with the little girl, which I know they do actually show that in the trailer, so I know it's not a spoiler. And it's absolutely amazing. It's just, I mean, yeah, I would watch this movie a few more times, and at least one more time in theaters.
I was when we were like waiting just to see if there was an end credit seats. There's not. We waited.
Yeah.
In case you're
sadly.
Yeah. But while I was doing that, I was looking up showtimes for Dolby. While we were running through the credit, I was like, I have to see this in Dolby, man. Like,
I really can't tell the difference between IMAX and Dolby. You wouldn't.
Oh, I
I
can
wouldn't
tell.
know the difference.
he can tell, yeah. I think I can. I'm not a sound person. I'm an image person, so I like the big like image of IMAX.
Yeah.
Dolby, like if you're a sound person like George, you would go more towards like Dolby, like. But either way, whether you watch it in IMAX or Dolby, it's gonna sound and look amazing because this movie
That's true.
has visual effects where you're like, oh wow, they really gave a crap to like make things happen.
It really did look beautiful. The
Yeah.
water looks incredible. Every hair on every little piece of that monster looks amazing. Every time something lights up, the lights are incredible. Yeah.
I've never seen that effect, but I'm like, I want that now. I want more of that sci-fi light neon glow.
Whatever that
Yeah.
was.
Whatever it is, it's gorgeous. Oh
There's
my
a scene
gosh.
in this where they walk into a room, and I was just taken aback by the lighting effects in that room. I was like, I want to go.
Oh,
to
the
this-
base. Yeah,
this
yeah.
room. Yeah, I just want to go. I won't spoil it, but I want to go into this room. I
There's-
want to be in this environment. It looks
Yeah.
so cool. It looks like a club.
Yeah, he actually
Yes.
said that.
Yeah.
The African
Something
American
about that.
Bernie, I
He
think
said
his
it.
name
No
is.
spoilers.
No, his name's Bernie.
Oh yeah.
He said like this bass looks like something out of like a DJ booth or club, and I laughed.
That's a
at him.
spoiler.
How is that a spoiler?
It was a good line. You know it was a good line.
It was a good line, but
That's a spoiler.
I don't think that's
good lines are spoilers. No.
I guess so.
I
In
must have
George's
missed
world.
that line. I didn't hear it.
Oh yeah,
That
I
was
was
good.
laughing really hard.
Yeah.
Was the little Asian girl in any of the other movies?
I don't remember her being in Kong.
They treated it like a set-up character.
I know,
They never
but for some
explained why
reason
she
I'm
was
not
there.
remembering her. I remember the other
She must
character.
have been.
No, she wasn't in there, but she stole the movie.
She did.
This is literally
Yeah.
all her. Like this whole time I was like, go back to that little Asian
Yeah.
girl because I want to adopt her.
Yeah, I would have taken her home with me.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
Would
Anyway,
you say
sorry,
Kong
George.
too? No.
Millie Bobby Brown is a teenager now, so she can't be the
Well,
cutesy
she was-
little girl role.
She was a teenager in the last Stranger Things, wasn't she?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, when she first started in Stranger Things, she
But
was
more
11.
of a tween.
Yeah, that's true.
So she can't be the cutesy
She's
little
like
girl.
16. Like she looks 16, 17,
Yeah,
maybe
I think
older.
she's around there.
I can never
High
tell
school.
age. She could be like 12 for all I know, or like 18, and like it's so hard to tell. But I'm
Really?
pretty
I
sure
could tell
she's.
you like how many months. I'm like they're 11 and 5 months.
Wow, you have that
Because I
ability.
worked with kids for so long.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm like she could be like 15 or she could
She's
be
15,
21.
16, yeah.
I think she's 16.
Yeah.
But
Makes sense. Anyways, what's your final score? Sorry, we
watch it. Absolutely go watch it in theaters. You must.
yeah.
If you like Jurassic Park, and if you like monster movies, and if you like anything that Spielberg's ever done, you'll probably enjoy this.
Yeah, that leads to Shannon. You can,
Oh yeah, so Spielberg kids is the exact right way to put this, because I'm usually not an action movie person. Like Avengers put me to sleep. Like I just couldn't. I'm so bored by action. It's usually like really hard to follow the plot, and then it's usually just really hard to follow. My eyes have a hard time following the action.
That's true.
This
You do
movie-
have that. What is it called with
Well,
your eyes?
a little bit of double vision.
Double vision.
So
okay.
it's kind of hard to like follow the action sometimes.
It makes sense.
And then I just don't care. You have to have a really good like character development to make me care. This movie has great character development. This movie also kind of slows the action down enough that I had no problem following it. And
yeah.
because it's not two people fighting, it's a very obvious monkey versus a very obvious lizard. There's no getting them confused.
Yeah.
And they move differently. And so your eyes kind of have time to follow what's going on. And I was like, I wonder if this is what normal people experience all action movies like.
Yeah.
But that being said, like the monsters they look cool because they're animated really well. But that wasn't what got me in this movie. The little girl and Millie Bobby Brown and the teenage kid.
They're so funny.
They're funny.
The
and they're
He was in
warm.
Deadpool.
Millie Bobby, which one? The boy?
Yeah.
I was wondering. I'm like, I've seen
He was
him
in
before.
Deadpool
He
too.
reminded me of like Spider-Man's friend.
Oh, Ned.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, the lines they gave Millie Bobby Brown, Bernie, and the kid from Deadpool.
They were definitely the funny, like the comedic relief team.
Yeah.
And then the little girl
Oh.
and the connection she has with, I don't know if that was her mom or what, but
No, it was her mom.
it was her
No,
mom.
it wasn't her
It
mom.
didn't- Is she her mom?
She-
Or she had
It
Didn't look
adopted
like
her.
mom.
It's like adopted mom or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
But she was definitely a mom-like figure in her life.
That's
Yeah,
true.
like the
Yeah.
connection that they had, and then the way that they cared about King Kong and King Kong having a heart, like that sold this movie for me. I never would have gone and seen this if it weren't for the channel. But now that I have seen it, like I could see myself going back and trying the first two movies or three movies or whatever it is, and seeing if
Yeah, they're
if
drama.
I like them.
Obviously there's action and there's monsters, but there's more human storylines going on in these Godzilla, which is
And
not something you would expect in movies like
That's
this.
why I compare it to Jurassic Park, because
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the whole plot of Jurassic Park is about this guy who doesn't want kids, and then he's forced to spend a week with kids in a survival situation, and by the end he loves kids, and it's a great movie, and it's fun, and there's dinosaurs, and
There are dinosaurs.
yeah, it's an action movie, but that's not the main point.
No.
And this feels like Spielberg could have directed it.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm dying to talk about spoilers. Do you guys have anything else to say before we move on?
No, I'm good to go.
Good, George?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, here's our spoiler warning. Seriously, go watch the movie. Please don't watch the spoilers.
Turn it
seriously.
off now.
This is like the best movie in like a year. Probably
Yeah.
more. Like
last-
Mulan's been disappointing. I really enjoyed Raya, but George didn't like it for whatever reason.
It was okay.
Yeah,
The
I was glad Disney came out with something.
Yeah.
but this is the first movie I can say that I was like, it feels like, oh, this is what movies were supposed to be like when we were actually going to regular movie theaters. You had movies like this that were big event, big budget. You know, like I used to like go to midnight for Avengers movies, Harry Potter movies, Lord of the Rings, Hobbit. Like those were like, that feeling I got in this movie is exactly how I felt when I was young, reading those books, getting excited to go to an early screening. You know what I'm saying?
We had such a good movie year in 2019 with Parasite and with Little Women and like Quiet Place. And
Avengers.
And I think the last time I wanted to see a movie twice in theaters was Little Women.
God, I love that movie.
It's so beautiful.
It was good.
I'm still waiting for another movie to come along that makes me want to see it twice in theaters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is your spoiler warning, so heads up. Come back. We'll talk to you guys then. All right, spoilers. Can I just start?
Yes.
Go
Just
right
go.
into
Hollow Earth. Oh my gosh, Hollow Earth. Holy crap, that looks so cool.
It reminded me of Avatar.
Yeah.
James
and
Cameron.
You're right. Yeah, that did have a lot of Avatar vibes.
Yeah.
when I first saw the opening and like, you know, the weird evil corporate guy goes into that guy's like says, I read your book about Hollow Earth. I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, this sounds so dumb. Like, go to Godzilla versus King Kong. I don't care about any of this. And then as the story kept progressing, I'm like, oh, they actually have a purpose here. And there's actually stuff going on at school. And then, you know, when they get there, there's this amazing, like, Jurassic Park like world where there's dinosaurs and Kong and, you know, there's these monsters that have just existed within the Earth's core, like you were saying, Journey to the Center of the Earth or something like that.
Yeah, it was very much like that.
Okay,
except
I haven't
it was
seen
cooler
those.
because like they actually had where like gravity reversed instead of
That
being,
was so cool.
in Journey to the Center of the Earth, it was somewhat similar to gravity reversed, but here it was like gravity could be anywhere, sort of.
Yeah.
In there, which was way cooler.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it was just like a planet inside a planet.
Yeah.
Which is what Journey to the Center of the Earth had. This had like, you jump from one place to the other, you know, you'll switch gravitational fields. And
How
that was
cool
so
when
cool.
Yeah, like, because like there's land, like Inception style. Like there's land on top and there's land on bottom. And the sky is another gravity with another like surface.
Yeah, where have we seen that before?
Never. I've never seen it. I
Yeah,
can't even think of a place.
What about Inside Out in Stranger Things? The
No,
Inside
that
Out
doesn't.
kind of
That's no. I'm literally just talking about like a sci-fi
world with
planet.
gravity being
Yeah.
I can't think of one.
Like when King Kong touches the rocks and the rock goes flying and hits the surface on the top because gravity switched.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I've seen it in outer
It was-
space movies, maybe.
Like,
but
yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
only
not-
time I've
yeah.
seen that.
it's weirdly enough, the concepts in Chaos Walking, the sci-fi that I wanted to be good, completely failed. But in a big budget monster smackdown movie, the sci-fi ideas are out of this world. Like,
Yeah.
no pun intended, of course, because, but
Yeah.
but really, like, the idea of where these monsters are going and where they're born, and there's a whole civilization, and the little Asian girl's like, look, home, you could have a family, you could have your people down there, and he just like runs, and they're like, okay, let's go follow King Kong, and I'm
They
like,
didn't
okay,
find any family down there, did they?
no, but he did find his.
It was his home.
It
like
was his
old
He was
home.
the only one.
Because you saw the hand, the other King Kong hand or
Yeah.
whatever it
Yeah,
was.
and there was also
the hammer.
I don't know if it was a statue or like a fossilized version of another Kong that
Yeah.
was behind him.
It's obviously somebody built that place to worship King Kong like a god.
Oh, I
Yeah.
And
thought it
he
was
sat down on the throne and like was holding that.
It was their home,
Yeah.
pretty much.
And they kind of went into that in the last Godzilla movie. Like people in the ancient days used to worship these monsters, Godzilla and King Kong.
Yeah.
And then to see that in a Hollow Earth setting, because the other Godzilla movies did not make any sense. I'm like, where are these monsters coming from? Like,
Yeah.
what do you mean they're just popping out and destroying cities? It was like something was missing. And then when you watch this movie, you're like, I totally get it. There's an entire civilization within the Earth that we have no idea about where these monsters live.
And they're
boom!
suddenly crawling out now.
And yeah, they're suddenly crawling out, and it was just, there's just a lot going on in this movie where I was like, wait, what do you mean? Like, what does this mean? Like, there was the glowy thing within the core, and like it was glowing, and I remember like the daughter, that girl who became evil, who worked for the corporation, or her dad, and she was like trying to like grab the glowing stuff to give it to the mechanical Godzilla, Mega Godzilla, or whatever. What is that? I have no idea. Like, I don't know what that.
So that was, they were trying to sample the material to know what kind of, I don't know if it was to know what kind of radiation it was that would basically
some
power
kind of energy,
him.
right?
Yeah, they were trying to sample the energy to then recreate it in Mechagodzilla so that he'd be powerful enough to just.
But instead, it gave it life and did its own thing.
Yeah,
which
like, lived true to what the Titans were, but.
Yeah. No, but there's just a lot of concepts here that I'm like, why is
really
Godzilla? Cool. Why is Godzilla angry? What is the reason that's causing him to like go from the savior of humans to just basically
destroying them?
Yeah, like, is it because he figured out the evil corporation was making like his, like, because Millie Bobby Brown said, no wonder he's pissed. You're trying to replace Godzilla with this robot. I'm like, I guess, but like, what? Why?
He was recognizing the energy signature that it was creating. So like, I don't know if you recall, but in the previous movie, he recognized the energy signature of that one monster, and that's why he attacked it.
Okay.
The dragon with the 3 heads, what's that called? Titan Zero, I believe.
Oh, the one that they
the
found
lightning one.
The skull underneath the base.
Yep.
Okay.
So that was one of its skulls, which they were using integrated to
then
do this. Yeah, it actually does tie.
It
does tie into.
That's what
the last movie.
Yeah,
but it's not so much that you can't just start off watching this. You can still watch this and still be like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah.
You know.
I've seen the last movie and I did not remember that part, but thank you for refreshing my memory, because now it's coming back to me. I'm like, there's some things I'm missing here plot wise.
And that's why he went and attacked it though. It was the same, because he was
pissed.
recognizing the energy signature
like,
of Titan Zero and being like, this is a threat, I need to destroy it.
Which
that
it was.
Makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
And the little girl also told him, like, Godzilla's not the enemy, it's Megatron or Megazilla or whatever.
Megazilla. That fight sequence.
Mechagodzilla.
Dude, the team up smackdown between
that was
Godzilla and King Kong. Oh,
I love it.
Wow. Like, first they're enemies, and then they're like friends, and then they're like, let's beat the shit out of this dude.
It's like when the T-Rex and the Velociraptor go at it.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever world, the Jurassic World.
The Lost World? I think it was in the Lost World. Yeah, no, it was just I just want a sequel with Hollow Earth. Can we just get more of Hollow Earth? Like, please? Like, I'm so excited for the sequel, which is obviously going to come, but I'm like, I really want to see what they do with this concept.
It looked like it was nearly destroyed by Godzilla there.
Well, no, it looked massive. It looked like the whole entire planet is covered with.
Well, yeah, so but his home was destroyed.
No, I know, but like,
got a great big hole through it.
That is how the gravity would have to work at the center of the Earth,
right?
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Or would the gravity just be weak?
Well, gravity
technically
can
should be weak.
I think it would just be weak because you've got pull from one side and pull from the other side.
At the very center, it should be weak, but
but they're not at the center. They're just at the lower layer, but not all the way to the core either. They're like,
so if this is to the core, that's why it switched gravitational pull.
Wait, they were in the core?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why the gravity. So think about, like, you have a globe, right? And you have gravity pulling on this side, this side, this side, and this side.
So it was almost like
go to the center.
The idea of Hollow Earth was that instead of being a globe inside a globe, it was a hole inside a globe.
Yeah. It's
so
like
basically,
donut.
they were on like the inside of a circle or of a sphere, I should say.
Yeah, like the Earth literally hollow. Like, here's the Earth.
So there's no core then.
Yeah, that's
so
the core is literally just hollow.
Here's the Earth, and here's the core. So if you have gravity here and gravity here, what's going to happen in the middle? You have gravity pushing down here, and you have gravity pushing.
So there's two gravities happening at
it
the
would
same
have
time.
to.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would it switch? It would have to switch. Yeah.
Their idea was basically that it was entirely hollow, which
Actually,
was
it doesn't make sense though.
It doesn't make sense. No.
Because the gravity would.
I mean, it's a
pushing
sci-fi movie.
this
for
way.
goodness sakes.
The gravity would be pushing this way and pushing that way. So in the middle, you would just have almost no gravity, or you'd have extra gravity.
Well, it sounds like it was just like two gravity polar opposites contracting, or like, you know, coming together and bouncing off each other to kind of make it a core without the core.
You would have like.
The closest I've seen to something like this was in, what was that, Raised by Wolves?
The TV show?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the closest I've seen to something
I never
kind of
finished
like
it.
that.
I think I got 4 episodes.
You never-
in,
It wouldn't switch. It would just be.
We
extra
talked
super
about that
gravity.
entire season.
We did. I said I didn't finish it, and you guys did. I didn't. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, you
I
guys.
watched 2 episodes.
Yeah, we did. We only did the first 3 episodes review. Remember?
Oh my gosh.
I was
I
like,
can't believe I've watched an entire season of
So,
that.
also another quip that I
you
had.
liked it. You said.
I did.
Sorry, Shannon.
Oh, you're good.
I'm just shocked I
When we're
actually
talking
watched
about like this being inaccurate, okay, that is not how you use a defibrillator. You can't just stick a giant thing in the center of his chest and shock him. That would not work. For a defibrillator to work, you have to have a shock that goes across the chest from one corner to the other corner to go across the heart. So I'm sitting there watching them try to use a defibrillator with a giant shock, and I was like, that wouldn't work.
It was a
wouldn't
single
work. It wouldn't
defibrillator
work.
with 4 spots.
No, it has to be 2 spots. You have to have the
It was
upper
4
right hand
spots.
and the lower left hand.
It was 4 spots because they had 4 engines. So he was using the
Okay.
engines across it, but it
4
didn't. It
wouldn't
still
work
didn't quite
either.
work. No. But I mean, it was still. I mean, this movie was still amazing.
Yeah,
I would
it was
still go
still
watch
good.
it again.
I was like, I mean, if you really want to nitpick, go for it.
I mean,
don't.
yeah, I can't. It's hard to nitpick a movie that has giant
Yeah,
killer
I was
lizards in it.
I mean, there's Mega Godzilla who comes to
Yeah.
life.
And it's controlled by a giant skull full of lights.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Like, you know, you're not really. I mean, I don't think anybody watching this would be like, oh yeah, Hollow Earth is real. Maybe some people would. You
I
never
know people that think Hollow Earth
And
is
Flat
a
Earth
real
too,
thing.
yeah. And I'm just like, why? But anyways, the point is, like, these are just fun ideas. I like good sci-fi concepts. You don't have to prove science to me. Just give me good science, sci-fi stories and things that I don't think about in my
just
day-to-day basis. And this
creative.
movie, weirdly enough, actually gave me a lot of cool sci-fi ideas that I would just never thought I'd get from a King Kong versus Godzilla or Godzilla versus King Kong movie. And I think like that's really cool. And I loved the part where King Kong has been sign languaging to this girl. I'm like, that makes complete sense. Because like, how else has this girl been like so close to King Kong and he hasn't like basically murdered this little girl? It's probably because they have they've been talking to one another the whole time, right? Like, so I was like, that's really cool. And then she didn't want to tell anybody because I guess King Kong didn't trust her mom and anybody else. But
I want to know this little girl's backstory. I want a whole movie just about her. She was awesome.
I wanna hold you.
Honestly, the only like big issue I had with it was just a moment where they were switching gravity fields. It was too much of like, you know,
It wouldn't work that way.
we're going through a force field.
It just looked really cool.
It looked cool, but it had no purpose.
It's the
It was the only thing in the movie that basically I couldn't get behind.
It's when people complain about The Last Jedi when that lady like pushes the light speed button and it goes right through the ship. And and then it just explodes. And you're like, it looks cool, but that's not how that would work because you're going through usually in Star Wars you're going through a wormhole when you do that, when you're at light speed.
Yeah.
So I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But it looks cool, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll forgive it.
Instead of like in Star Trek where you're
speed.
actually warping.
Yeah. Because you're warping space and time, so you're not going to run into a planet or a sun or something like that.
Star Trek, they still ran into things.
If you
They still
jump
got
out in front of a
shot.
black hole, yeah, you probably will. But but the idea is to make a wormhole when you go warp speed, and when you make it warp speed, you're jumping space and time. You're not actually about to hit or do anything because they say if you're going that fast, if a penny came across your path, it would instantly vaporize you because you can't
Yeah.
go that fast and hit anything. So they
That's
have
true.
to warp. They have to warp space and time to get through other side of the galaxy that fast. So I kind of got what they were going for. They're like, okay, there's two gravities that are kind of like it can crush you. So they're when they push the button to go through it, you have to push through that gravity, like that pull, whatever it is within the core. And if once you have the technology that those ships had, you can actually get to the center. That's why his brother died, because he couldn't. He got crushed because you can't get through
Because
it.
there'd be so
Oh,
much
okay.
gravity at the center.
Yeah, or whatever it is. Like there's that whole, it would crush you. But like, that's why like when King Kong fell, he actually that
He just
doesn't-
fell.
why
He
can't-
didn't go through it. They went through this weird like the lights are changing.
Is
It
it-
felt like Ant-Man and the Wasp, where he was like warping down in size. That's what it felt like for watching this. But it was like that was the only
Shoot.
thing I had an issue with.
Yeah, I'm trying, but okay, but like maybe he's big enough not to get crushed by the gravity and go through, kind of like.
Well, I mean, he's a
Godzilla.
Titan, so
Yeah.
he shouldn't have any issues doing anything. But
Because in the other movies, King Kong and Godzilla get hit with like literally missiles, and like it's like a scratch. So you're
Yeah.
kind of like, okay, if this gravity, if I get hit with a missile, I will die or get vaporized. If Godzilla and King Kong get hit with a missile, they'll get a scratch maybe, but like, ow,
a little
don't punch.
shockwave.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
little. So it kind of makes sense how they were able to push through that. That's why those Titans live where they live, because there's no way they can live like, like we could not go through that gravity push unless we had like those ship technologies, right? So it makes sense in some ways. I don't know. We could talk about King Kong versus Godzilla like all night, but I think you guys got the gist of it. Did you have anything else to add, you guys, before we move on?
No, I am good. I think we said all we can say about this movie.
All right,
Yeah.
well, go check it out. We loved it. This is probably our first golden popcorn rating in like
Over a year.
a year and a half, maybe. I don't even know. I think we gave Little Woman golden popcorn.
Yeah,
we gave
Weathering
Freya
with
golden
you
popcorn.
No, we didn't.
You
I-
did.
I gave it a good rating, but golden popcorn means all three of us loved it.
I thought
That
you
did-
gave it that.
Raya
No.
was like an 8 out of 10.
Grail's good. I think
Yeah.
the original Mulan is better.
Raya
This-
needed to be a musical. It would have been an amazing musical.
It could have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, the point is, this is a movie we all like loved, and we're all coming from different backgrounds when it comes to what kind of movies and genre we like. So if we all enjoyed it,
I mean, I
You can-
enjoyed it. I'm not gonna go watch it again.
no, but the golden popcorn has everybody in the car enjoyed the movie.
Okay.
Maybe not as much as me and George, but we all at least got something out of it and would recommend it.
Yeah,
guess.
I could recommend this.
Yeah. So, anyways, let us know what you guys think. If you guys have any questions or comments, we're always on YouTube replying, and as some
Email, Twitter, Facebook,
Geekdom-
website.
geekdommovies@gmail.com. You can also visit our YouTube channel and Facebook group, and we also have a website, geekdommovies.com. So check out those places if you want to talk to us. And we just submitted our 2021 movies we're looking forward to with our good friends at Eternal Midnight with Chad and Santiago, which just went up. So check that out, and part 2 will be dropping next week. We are getting close to the Oscar seasons because Oscars are coming in sometime in April, so we have like 4 movies we need to watch. Thank God we got through Nomadland and Promising Young Woman, because I think we only have like 3 or 4 movies left in the Best Picture list, so look out for
Nice.
that as we move that towards
The Father.
The Father. There is Mank, whatever it's called on Netflix. Sound of Rock. It's about a drummer.
Is I Care a Lot on the list?
It's not on the Best Picture list. I'm just
Okay.
literally naming those movies. There's a movie that looks really good. It's about a man who plays he's a drummer for a metal rock band, and he's famous. But then his doctor tells him he's losing his hearing, and his journey to
Oh.
like keep drumming because he's passionate about like metal
Okay.
music. That's another one that's on our list. And Minari, which just got dropped, about an Asian family that moves to Nebraska, Alabama, and start to like build a farm, and they don't speak English, but they're
That
trying
sounds
to
fun.
in the 80s. Yeah. So those are the movies we'll be doing for in the next week or two. So look out for them, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.
All right.
Bye.